Okay, we're recording.
Okay, guys, so check this out. For the last 2 months, I have been on fire. And I wanted to make sure that before I share this information with everybody, the masses, that I was 100% correct. Now, that's not saying I didn't have people involved in what would be my transformation, but it's just the absolute truth. We're looking at a situation now that the world has completely changed, guys. How's your online business? Because mine's doing pretty incredible. Now, I do see people that I hear, Master Mo, how you doing, sir? And I see people, all right. Now, and just for time integrity, guys, I'm going to keep the ball rolling as fast as possible because I want to make sure that we get this, get to the point. I know you guys are really, really busy. So, all right, unless, okay. Everyone's muted right now. So if you do have a question, you can put it in the chat box and we'll make sure we'll answer that. But I just got to get the ball rolling, guys. So the deal is this. It's 2020, and the world has completely gone upside down, right? But at the same time, in some industries, it's booming. The company that we are part of, an international company, is booming right now. Now, what's the common denominator with the people who have had some major challenges, such as passing away? It's been their immune system's been compromised. What's another thing that's happening right now that's going through the roof? The suicide rate. Oh my God. Because of when you have less finances, your body literally creates cortisol and it creates a stressful environment. That being the case, everyone is at risk. Now, in this presentation, we're going to focus on what would be adults. However, please stay tuned because we do have something very similar that's even more important for the children, and it's similar but different. It's for the entire family. So please stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you're at the right place at the right time. You guys heard that before, right? Remember that corny thing has been said a whole bunch of times, but it's the truth, guys. We are at the right place at the right time because during this pandemic, I was able to turn my life around by the comfort of an apartment. Nowhere in life was that going to happen, me teaching martial arts classes, because literally people weren't coming. I met this gentleman because of Dr. Jonathan Poussin, who I know since we were teenagers, a martial arts black belt, also in Taekwondo. And he exposed me to what would be this company, and I was completely wrong, assuming that I think I knew what it was, until I had a conversation with Mr. Willie Morris, who seems like he's my younger brother. I see this guy, and he did something he's done a few interesting things, him and his wife, Vigna, in the first 2 months, that I can honestly say that I consider him a kindred spirit and really a family member. Not a relative, got a different last name, but a family, because I strongly believe that family you choose, people of similar mind, and relatives have the same last name. And sometimes they're the worst people when it comes to approaching people when it comes to some of these things. So Mr. Willie Morris, I should say, not Morrison, that's another guy, excuse me. Willie Morris is an expert in the industry who's earned 7 figures in the previous company that was not easy to do. In the meantime, here, he's done a lot more life-changing things. And I can honestly say that I just got to shut up now. Without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to the reason why I'm here in terms of being educated, and that's Willie Morris. Take it away, Willie.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. Awesome, man. I'm excited. That's some great energy to kick this thing off, and we have every reason to be that excited because the things that we're able to do collectively within this company that we're connected to. So first of all, I want to give it right back to you, Jerry. It's been a great honor, in a short period of time, connecting with, an individual of your caliber, not only the things that you've been able to accomplish in the past, based on your discipline and all of that stuff, your ability, but your love to help other people. And I think, quite frankly, we need more people like you, that will roll up their sleeves to sincerely, want to provide something better for people. I absolutely believe that without a shadow of a doubt. So it's an honor. And so, for time restraints, for everybody that's here, welcome. And I just got to say, yes, we've done some incredible things, my wife and I, and I'm extremely grateful. It wasn't always necessarily that way. We just, ordinary people want to provide for ourselves and our family, and, look out for friends and family as well. And we just kind of got sick and tired of the so-called rat race. And we started to realize that, that glass ceiling wasn't necessarily going to provide for us what we really wanted to accomplish and what we really felt that we were capable of accomplishing as far as our dreams and our goals and our ability to be able to impact people's lives the way we really wanted to. And so, about 15 years ago, we decided to, actually, I transitioned out. I was a project manager in New York City of the Museum of Modern Art, actually. And I was also offered to be a project manager at the Rockefeller Center. And we turned that down, and I went out in pursuit to look for a business that would create freedom for myself and my family, others, and my wife. And my wife stayed with a six-figure income. And it didn't happen necessarily overnight like I really wanted it to. But however, if you really look at it, it took me about 6 years. And then the next 3 years, after 6 years of building business and from home and replacing my six-figure income from home, I was able to bring my wife home from her corporate job. And now, she became a full-time wife, full-time mom, and those next 3 years together working from home, building businesses, we generated over $1 million from home while raising a family. So I don't say that to impress anybody, only to impress upon you that, we have an idea of what we're doing. And so what we got involved with about a year ago, what you're going to hear about on the very first day after 14 years of experience in this profession of network marketing, we actually broke a record with the company. And we're extremely excited. And that's the reason, that's the fuel that kind of contributed to us putting massive effort into something that we knew would impact other people's lives. And that's our mission today, is to impact other people's lives. And I think more than ever, there's never been a greater time to impact people's lives because of all the challenges, that we all face. I mean, we're just all inundated with all types of challenges these days. So I just want to welcome everybody, and we're going to go through this information relatively quickly. Although this information that you're going to hear, some of it is very complicated, but it's been made very simple so that a guy like me can understand it. Okay? So, first question, do you believe health is a habit? I hope you said yes. I really hope you said yes. But if not, we're going to show you that being unhealthy is a habit. And so that might lead you to believe that, without a shadow of a doubt, that, being healthy is a habit. Okay. This was my wife, although we were doing relatively well financially. We're working from home and stuff like that, and raising a family. But I had just turned 50. I passed the 50 mark. My wife, I'm not at liberty to say her age, but she's not too far from me, right? So, but after a day's work, she would come home and she would just kind of she would ask, babe, can I, just kind of get a breather? Let me, regather myself, that kind of thing. And she would sit on the couch, and on a regular basis, my wife would just knock out. She was out of gas, like around 4 or 5 o'clock. And, before we knew it, and then my kids and I would encourage them, guys, keep it down. Mom's trying to get some rest. So it wasn't like she popped up off the couch. She was ready to go. She peeled herself off the couch, did what she needed to do for the night, and then she would crash in the evening, right? And then in the morning, it wasn't like she had, this newfound energy either. It's like peeling herself off the bed. Let's get things going, grudgingly, whatever. See, what I want to show you guys is that we thought that we were doing all the right things. And I know Jerry Fontanez can contest to this because he had this experience as well. We were eating what was supposed to be the right things, we intense, working out, all this stuff intense, but we just knew something wasn't really clicking. And then we heard what you're about to hear tonight, and it let us off the hook because we found out that things were missing. Just like you're going to find out that things are missing that are not allowing you to get to your optimum health. And so let me tell you, within 30 days, we were introduced to the information that you're about to be introduced to tonight. And in only 30 days, my wife, her hair, her nails, her skin, her, mental clarity, energy level, everything, measurements started to adjust. Even the way she treated her husband got a little bit nicer. Hey, listen, when you're feeling better, you do better. You treat people better. Yes, right? And so, what we're going to show you, like I talked about, is facts that you should know. And we're also going to show you some recent breakthroughs based on those facts. All right. Some discoveries that some experts are saying are the greatest discovery of our time as far as health and wellness is concerned. We call these two simple, all-natural products the Forever Pack. And quite frankly, simplicity has never been so profound. So next question, what do you know about telomeres? Right? And 99.9% of the planet never even heard of the word. And people that have, they're not really sure how significant that is about our health. I mean, everything about it. And then most people, even if they knew about it, they can't do anything. They don't have a solution. There's been some effort to how to slow down the well-being of the telomeres, but not recuperate, any losses that may have taken place. So telomeres, naturally, they are the tips of every chromosome of every cell in our bodies. If you think of them like shoelaces, and as the shoelaces get worn down, they start to fray. They don't serve you, the shoelaces, as well as they did when it was all together, right? So the telomeres are the tips. You want them long so that they function better, okay? When they unravel the telomeres, they expose the DNA inside the chromosomes in every cell in your body, okay? So the DNA, the memory starts to misfire. And experts say that when telomeres shorten, bad things happen. Some experts say all degenerative diseases are correlated with the length of a person's telomeres. Okay? Lately we've been exposed to what's called accelerated shortening of telomeres, because the discovery that we're going to talk about is that the telomeres weren't healing themselves. And if you believe, like I do, and everybody else that may have invited you here, that the body has the capacity to heal itself, you'll have no problem understanding this and accepting this information. But most of us have accepted, aging, right? And kind of, the guy with the cane and getting older. But I'll give you a quick example of how shortening of the telomeres, because today we're experiencing accelerated shortening of telomeres, and they're not healing themselves the way that we know that they could. You ever meet somebody that maybe when you ask them what their age is, and then they say, 40 or 50, and you're like, wow, that person looks a lot older. That has to do with the length of their telomeres, okay? How about when you meet somebody who's older and they look a lot younger? It has to do with them keeping their telomeres healthy and longer, okay? So we've all accepted this. However, the problem is that now babies are being found in the womb with telomeres already shortened, and they're not healing themselves the way that they used to. That's a problem. And that's why some, babies and children are being born or exposed to illnesses that we only correlated with elderly people. And I'm not going to start naming any kind of conditions, but it doesn't matter. It could be a lung disease, heart disease, skin disease, you name it. It's correlated with the length of their telomeres. When telomeres are long and healthy, the body fights the best that it can. The shorter they get, the more exposed and vulnerable they become. Now, in 1994, a gentleman by the name of Bill Andrews, a geneticist, made a discovery of an enzyme called telomerase that he took a human petri dish and he activated the enzyme, and it lengthened the telomere in the human skin cell. And they wrote a 13-page article on, it's the longest article ever written in Popular Science on this discovery. He shared that discovery with Harvard. And what Harvard did, the same thing he did on mice. And they theorized that if they could lengthen the telomeres, to what age would this elderly man at the bottom, resort back to? And they all said in his 20s. He would go back to his 20s. And based on those discoveries, the Nobel Prize was issued in 2009. That's a big deal. Okay? Now, I'm not going to expect you to just, I know that sounds a little, sci-fi and all that stuff, but let's listen to a 1 minute of this clip on ABC News from Diane Sawyer, and then we'll explain a little bit more of how everything unfolded and we're going to share
And now,
with you
eternal
some
youth.
testimonies.
Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
I feel tremendous.
In the Moody Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. Y'all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosomes, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding. But the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size.
You know anybody who needs a bigger brain? All right, so that should get. There's about another minute left in that clip. You can get that access to that from the person that invited you here. But in 1994, so Bill Andrews went to work, put together a bunch of investors, built a lab. Over $30 million were invested. 304 compounds were created to activate the enzyme. They came up with 8 over, 15 years, okay? And $30 million later, group of 40 of the top scientists worldwide. But these compounds that they found were toxic. They couldn't give it to human beings. They were activating the enzyme, but they were toxic. Then they were introduced to John Anderson, who's known as the mineral man around the world. He's formulated for hundreds of nutritional companies like GNC and Joe Weider, and you name it, okay? And the man is an absolute genius. When he found out about telomeres, he said, oh my God, I would have been formulated for you guys years ago. Let me send over some compounds. He sends over about 15. One of those red lines are called a hit. And he sent over 15 and he gets a hit, okay? Just 15. These Bill Andrews and the scientists were like, oh my God, this guy's got to be the luckiest man in the world. 304,000, they only came up with 8 and they were toxic. This guy comes up with 1 out of 15. He sends over another 15. Let me send over another one. Gets another hit. It's a little bit stronger. So he's got their attention and like, maybe this guy really is a genius. And now he's got their attention. Okay. So he sends over 120 compounds. And I believe, 7 hits all together. Now they're starting, the wheels are starting to spin. They're starting to get some results, seeing what they knew would be possible. However, then John Anderson does what they didn't think was possible because these compounds were all natural. And then Bill Andrews states he couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it because now he comes up with 2 hits that were off the charts. And they knew that this was going to drastically impact world health. And so right now we're on what we call 4th generation. He continues to send compounds over and over and over. And the 5th generation is expected to be around the corner. So let's just give you, a couple of testimonies really quickly. But before we do that, as a disclaimer, we're not making any claims to cure anything or diagnose anything or treat. Okay, we're just gonna show you some of the results that some individuals have. We'll start with the geneticist. Whom better than the geneticist? He does a marathon. I think it's annually. I'm not 100% sure, but it's 138 miles long. You got to do it in 60 hours at 18,000 feet altitude. All right. He's the oldest. He's got the fastest. He's the oldest to do it in that amount of time. Okay, and he can't wait till he's 70 years old to break that next record in the 70-year-old group. His wife tried doing this with him prior to taking the isogenesis, which is an all natural herbal supplement, right? Which you see here, you know, it's vegan friendly. There's no childproof cap. There's no 800, you know, poison control nuts, all natural, vegan friendly. Okay. And so his wife tried this marathon. She couldn't complete it. After consuming the Isogenesis, she's the first woman to ever complete this marathon. You know, you got to get it done within 60 hours. It's absolutely amazing. My mentor, Mr. Dave MacArthur, at the age of 46, started consuming Isogenesis for a few years at that point, started feeling younger, exercising, body's changing and everything. Always wanted to motocross, never did so. His mom never let him. So he said, you know what, I'm 46, I'm going to do it. He started doing it. He started competing with teenagers. He started winning, beating teenagers at 46 on motocross. He's never motocrossed before, but he was, you know, he was aging youthfully, right? And so, but then he had an accident. He got hurt, shattered his shin like it was a piece of glass, and only 6 doctors could work on his leg. Luckily for him, one of those doctors lived in his state. They told him, listen, you're probably not going to be able to stand at least for 12 months. Never mind, you know, walk or run again. They didn't know that, but they just said, you know, you wouldn't be able to stand in 12 months. He was running stadiums in a matter of weeks. His physical therapist said, your leg healed so fast, it doesn't even look like, you know, like you had that accident before. So athletes absolutely love the ability to be able to heal faster like a 20-year-old or like a teenager. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Bob Sheridan, the only boxing announcer in the Boxing Hall of Fame, 2011, he needed an operation, and the doctors told him that his heart wouldn't withstand the operation. He started to consume Isogenesis. Within a matter of months, he was able to get the operation. You know, his heart was performing much better. His wife colored his hair. He was feeling better. Within a year and a half, you know, he was just vibrant. And the boxing industry said, oh my God, we thought we were going to lose an icon in the industry. And he said, forget about it. I could probably go announcing another 20 years. So just by lengthening his telomeres, by strengthening his telomeres, you know, he revived his health, and he looks a lot and feels a lot better. Jill Ballman, one of the company's top income earners, she's an advocate for this particular product. In 2011, she was 51 in that picture there. And I love this picture because it kind of shows the clock as she continues to consume the product. And she calls it, you know, aging in reverse. And it's absolutely correct. In the bottom right, she's 60 years old. You tell me. And these are selfies with her cell phone. This is not professional pictures, none of that. Okay, you know, you can look her up on Facebook. You can see it's just regular pictures, and her on a cellular level, just physically being younger. That when you correct the cells and you restore them, and now they're in a healthier, younger version, it corrects the rest of your body. Okay, Chantel, she was in a lot of pain, and she started to consume this product, and you know, she was never able to get a good night's sleep. And her father had actually died from pain medication, but she swore to never take that stuff. And all of a sudden, she's able to sleep, you know, pain-free. Her daughter also had a condition where her scalp would get really dry in the cold and it would bleed. They couldn't comb this poor girl's hair. And after the Isogenesis, neither one of them are suffering from those conditions. So long telomeres or short telomeres? You tell me. And if you said long with confidence, then you know more than 99.9% of the planet. Now, yes, it was in the news, but the news doesn't mark it. And Isagenix is the only company that has a product that's proven to support the telomeres the way that we do. Okay, because Bill Andrews has the only lab that can actually measure it. Okay, so somebody's mic is open. If you could make sure that your microphone is closed. So in closing, and the second part of the Forever Pack, you are what you eat. Okay, and so our question is, can replacing one meal change your life? And that answer is a yes if it's this meal. Okay, we're going to go through this really quickly and then we're done. So here's the other part of the problem is that in our society today, we're all exposed to some degree processed food. Some are only eating processed food, which are insaturated with chemicals that can naturally not be processed in our bodies. And so what they do is they bring our pH levels down, and we go into what's called acidosis. When 9 times out of 10, when people say that they're tired, they're not physically tired, but they don't have the pH, the natural energy, because they're in acidosis. Okay? And the fast food industry knows this. But really quickly, there's been studies, and one in particular by UCLA, they checked in 1953, based on the chemicals that are being exposed to our produce, how much iron was in spinach in 1953. They said you could eat 1 bowl, you'd have enough iron for the day. Okay. In 2007, they checked for that amount of iron, and they said you'd have to eat 51 bowls of spinach to get the same amount of iron in 1953. Now check this out, guys. The problem's not just spinach, and it's not just iron. It's a known fact. You could Google it anywhere. As the minerals continue to be depleted, illnesses that are being created based on the deficiency of these minerals in the human body are on the rise. Okay? So yes, drinking one of our shakes on a daily basis. They are super organic, raw, clean food. It's real food. That's why when you make our shakes, you got to drink it within 10 minutes because it's live. And your body will react to it. 2 to 3 days, 5 most, your body will go into homeostasis and automatically release unwanted weight. Energy will increase, mental clarity, the whole 9 yards. Just to give you a little background, Dr. Colgan, the founder of Colgan Institute, who trains athletes, wrote a book on our shakes. It's called the New Nutrition. The New Nutrition. And he says these shakes, our shakes, the Isoline shakes, will boost your immune system by 500% just by drinking one of those shakes. Okay, and in closing, these are some of the testimonies, that we've seen. Some of my favorite is the elderly man on the right. He was in a walker. He was told he couldn't drive because he was getting too weak. He started drinking the shakes within 30 days. He gained 14 pounds of lean muscle with no exercise, replacing 1 meal a day, and was allowed back to drive. Okay? This lady released a significant amount of weight. This lady as well, she was in People magazine, but our personal favorite is Kenya. She released 439 pounds. She posted on Facebook how grateful she was because she was able to finally close the door without being overly concerned whether it was going to slam against her leg and then having the space between her leg and the car. This is not a diet. It is a healthy lifestyle. Okay? Guillermo will tell you if he's here live, him and his wife released approximately 150 pounds in 9 months, 8 months or so. And he eats whatever he wants. He replaces 1 meal with the shake, and just has the energy, pain-free, combined with the isogens. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal, okay? It is an absolute lifestyle. You can see this overview in 22 minutes with no testimonies, and you can share this with anybody you want, okay? In closing, just to compare to one of the popular fast food packages out there or whatever, but any fast food is pretty much the same. No nutrition in it. Ours have maximum nutrition. You need 90 nutrients in every meal. Ours has over 200. So from one shake, you get enough nutrients for 2 meals. That's how it kind of offsets, even if you just drank 1 a day. Okay? This one has just about the amount of calories you need for the day. Ours has 240 from 1 serving. This particular meal in 2007 was almost $9. Today, it's just about $11. We went out. There's a supersized meal. But ours in 2007 was under $3. Today, still under $3. That's just to show you the integrity of the company. And when you combine it with the isogenesis to lengthen your telomeres, still under, $5.50. Most people save at least $100 a month. Some people, depending on their habits, like with coffee and Starbucks and munchies and stuff like that, sometimes it's over $300 a month. we saw immediately within 60 days, our supermarket bill went drastically down because us and our 3 children, our cravings changed, for stuff that wasn't, nourishing our bodies anyway. We're the most overfed country and the most undernourished in the planet. It's a known fact. So health is a habit, okay? And simplicity has never been so profound. So with that, I'm just going to end it there. I'm not going to even get into the cost of it. But just to tell you, to end it right there, it's $164, okay, for 30 days, 100% money back guarantee. It's a meal replacement. You got a meal a day for 28 days, $164 under $5.50 a day, 100% money back guarantee. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jerry Fontanez, and then we'll stick around for any questions and maybe clarify some other information as far as what we do as a team and as a company. So turn it back over to you, Jerry.
Willie, I appreciate it, buddy. So listen, in a nutshell, this is the way we've been doing the business. I've been doing it for 2 months. I ask people to just try the product. If they like the product, then obviously they can continue taking it. And if they don't like the product, then they exercise their right to get their money back guarantee. Now, in addition to that, for those of you who are here, if for some reason you want to find out about the money, maybe Willie will go over in about 5 minutes what the potential of income is. But at this point, if you're not concerned about anything else, and I invited you or somebody else invited you, we want to thank you for your time integrity. It's just a little over at 9:30, and I want to make sure that I do not mess up anybody's time schedule. However, I can tell you that out of my bedroom in the Boogie Down Bronx, I've been able to earn quite a bit of income, and the process to it is very simple. So those of you who just want to try the product, get back to the person who invited you, myself, great. If not, then it's going to be the other person. However, Willie, do you think you're going to give us a 5-minute overview of how? Show me the money, man. Show me the money for those who want to know about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can absolutely do that in 5 minutes. And for